My story, my Odyssey. In quiet moments, I muse over what I might now be doing had I taken another path in my life. The lives of those about me seem so serene and uncomplicated in comparison. And then, my musings turn to negotiating the difficult course of the road I have taken, and there's no time nor reason to dwell on what-ifs. I must tend to that which is, and make the best of it. Dad, I have this feeling that I'm dead, and everything and everybody around me is just a dream. Do you think I could be right? Wham! The hallway wall rattles. A picture on the wall crashes to the floor. I hate myself. I hate myself, she shouts as she bangs her way through the house with her teeth clenched on one fist, while the other strikes out at anything in her vicinity. Why was I born like this? She cries in anguish. Tears are brimming in her eyes. I'm fat, ugly, and my hair is like straw. Why didn't my mother have an abortion? I can't stand being like this, she screams. She reaches the table in the dining room and slams it with her fist, scattering trinkets she has previously placed there onto the carpet, nearly causing a glass centerpiece to top over. Then she sits in a chair at the table, buries her face in her hands, and sobs. I wish I was dead. Late at night, when everybody's asleep, she goes to the bureau and removes the family photo albums. At the table, she leafs slowly through each page, pausing over photos of herself, touching each line of those snapshots, as if she could somehow redeem each one of those moments by doing so, and step through the photo into the past. Then she was slim and cute. Then she was happy. At Christmas and Easter, at Niagara Falls, and on a beach in Canada. Her first house when she came to live with Mom and Dad, the second house with her foster brother, the old brown dog, Ralph. Tears cloud her eyes, and slowly they dropped on the acetate protecting those memories. These vignettes are not fancies of an imaginative writer. They are as common to my existence as eating and sleeping are to all our existences. But they are torturous. Perhaps she's right. We're all dead, and this is hell, both hers and ours. Part 2. Relevant time in irrelevant past, watching reruns of our past over and over and over again in our present. We lose touch with the reality of both. Like Popeye the Sailor Man always said, I am what I am. I am what I am. Operant behavior conditioning, adverse behavior conditioning, play therapy, hypnosis, diet therapy, occupational therapy, psychotropic drug therapy, special public school for severe behavioral handicapped children, short-term hospitalization, long-term hospitalization, sheltered workshop for the mentally retarded, medical doctors, neurologists, psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, special educators, mental health technicians, mental retardation technicians, psychiatric nurses, security guards, testing, retesting, questioning, poking, prodding, pushing, evaluating, re-evaluating. Fill a decade of a person's life with all of the above. And what do you get? 3. I'm loony, she says, looking up at me from the table. Her eyes are crossed, and her lips form a lopsided smile. She picks up a hardcover textbook from the table and proceeds to whack herself on the head repeatedly, saying after each whack, cuckoo, whack, cuckoo, whack, cuckoo. Part 3. Editorially speaking, there are but 3 common ways of treating severe mental illness: drugs, institutionalization, or a combination of both. There is little medium ground. The science of the mind is not but disciplined tomfoolery based on statistical beliefs no more or less concrete than a deck of tarot cards. The science of human behavior is relative to common social norms and values in context with genetic inheritance and development. Pretty cool stuff. Deviant behavior as well as typical behavior owns a genetic logic not yet known to mankind. Does this mean that all eccentric conduct is madness? Or does it mean that if common social norms and values are controlled by those we consider eccentric, we would be considered mad? Part 4. She dreams of life like any other 18-year-old person, but in isolation, those dreams only become sophisticated fantasies, and I intrude upon them. "When you're dead," she hollers, "I'm gonna come by your tombstone with my friends and smash it with a sledgehammer." My state uses a county cluster concept for assisting handicapped persons with multi-problems. This cluster is comprised of representatives of all public-funded agencies and where multi-funding and services are appropriate. They attempt to provide, sometime, somewhere. In September of 1988, I go to a cluster meeting looking for financial support to train persons to work with our daughter. The cluster leader arrives an hour late. He is familiar with the file data provided him, and he wants to provide $30,000 for a year's placement in a group home 600 miles away from our home. I'm familiar with the exact information provided him, but I've not been privileged to see it, although I have paid for and asked to see it. I've been told that the information is private, and that it would be a violation of our daughter's right to privacy for me to see it. What the leader of this group doesn't know is not contained in this information. He doesn't know that we, along with the persons who provided this information, had already made a sincere attempt for such placement, and we had failed. That is the precise reason for this meeting. His information is correct, but out of date. Beyond that, it lacks the detail requisite to his understanding. I view his proposal as being absurd, and express that fact. He throws me out of the meeting. My vision of the future for mentally ill persons has little to do with money. It has a great deal to do with education, experience, and attitude on the part of the public. The best treatment any and all of these folk can acquire is friendship, and good luck to folks who believe they can buy it. "Dad, good morning, Dad," she says brightly, and a lengthy silence follows. "Good morning?" she repeats. My silence is pregnant with an experiential reason. "Yo, Dad," she sings. "What?" I follow in a low chord. "Do you think we could go to the mall today? I was thinking about getting my nose pierced." I cringe at the thought of both ideas. I opt for alternatives, choose one, and then go about my life with the knowledge that I waited through another day with her, thus purchasing time for mental health professionals. Yo, mental health professionals, the author of this work is weary of your bullshit. Yes, I am an arrogant so-and-so, fill in the blank, when it comes to the field of mental health. I view it as something I have earned. It's not unlike a Purple Heart, and I have the scars to prove it. My mistakes have been many. I see no reason for them to be repeated. That is why I have zero patience with the so-called mental health experts. One does not need to be a fish to give swimming lessons. Intelligent test scores show that she is mildly mentally retarded. Comprehensive testing shows that she owns severe perceptual problems. Comprehensive psychological testing has no decisive name for her emotional disorders. She is a complex person. She does not fit the models used to train specialists at universities. Thus, she has been covertly denied public services. That might help her. These folks don't like complex problems, neither do they like failure, So they abandoned her via professional procrastinations. They believe, like the toddler who covers his eyes after he has done something wrong, that because he can't see you, you can't see him. It's time they grow up and face facts. "God, I'm stupid," she glumly exclaims. "I can't do anything right. Why? Why was I born? I can't spell. I can't write. I can't do anything. God, I hate myself." Dad, how do you spell tomorrow? Part 6. It is said that looks aren't everything. I would agree. But one must also agree that looks isn't nothing. Here is an 18-year-old girl. She's 5'2" with blue eyes and blondish short hair. She weighs approximately 235 pounds. Her arms are covered with crude pictures and scrawlings done in various colors with magic markers. She is wearing a black t-shirt advertising a rock group and a pair of purple sweatpants with paint stains on the thighs. She is also wearing a new pair of high-top sneakers laced with sparkling shoestrings. Would you notice this person? Would you look at her if she passed you? Would you think her odd? I believe these are moot questions. Add to this visage, these behaviors. This girl is talking to herself quite loudly. You turn and look at her. She notes your glance and flips you the middle finger saying, "Quit staring at me, motherfucker. I'm not queer." What would you think of such a person? This is also a moot question. Proper people neither look nor act like this. This person should not be allowed to subject herself on the public. She is crude, rude, and obscene. She belongs well out of the public eyesight and hearing. She's crazy. This would be my assessment of her were I a stranger. The assessment is not entirely wrong. "My cats are guilty of being cute without a license," she says. 4 years have passed since she picked up the 2 tiger toms off the street and brought them home in a basket on her bicycle. It was a sleety October morning. The kittens were extremely sickly. Their eyes were clouded with mucus, and they had terrible coughs. I was angry about her bringing them home. We had a nice, healthy kitten in the house already. I would not allow her to bring up smaller and sickly kittens into the house and made her keep them in our garage. I thought they would die within a matter of days. I left the garage door partially open, hoping they would leave of their own accord. It didn't happen. Finally, I took them to the vet. He said, 3 out of every 4 kittens he sees with such problems die, despite treatment. He gave me some medication for their eyes and pills to help their congestion. I refused to help her apply these medications. I gave them to her, told her how they should be applied, and forgot it, figuring she would either forget to apply the medication or lose the interest in applying it. I was mistaken. She beat the odds of both the vet and myself, and the twin tiger toms are guilty of being cute without a license. This is the same person the public has no tolerance for, and public mental health agencies have no programs for her. She is odd and eccentric. She is mean, dirty, and obscene. And all that is odd, eccentric, dirty, and obscene about this person is nothing more than all that is odd, dirty, eccentric, and obscene about our society. Her demonstrative compassion for hopeless problems, and her demonstrative ability to beat the odds moves me to understand that for all our charitable beliefs, we are a nation of bigots who support our bigotry by manipulating statistics. We have abandoned faith in our innate abilities and our faith in God for a logic that is self-serving. "Is that all you have to say, preacher man?" she tells me. "I'm tired of your preaching." "Geez," I respond. "I was simply trying to tell you where your shoes are." "Thanks, Flea," she says in a soft voice. Part 7. I'm not Annie Sullivan, and my daughter is not Helen Keller. There will be no miracles worked here. There will only be understanding. At the mall, she sees the Easter Bunny waiting for some little children to visit him and have their pictures taken. She tells me that she's going over to visit him. I cringe at the idea. Sometimes she forgets her age and size. "Hi," she says amiably to him. He acknowledges her greeting with a wave of one large paw. "I'm 18 now," she sings. "I hope you have a happy Easter." And that's that. We turn to leave the mall. She is extremely elated as we walk toward the door. "Happy Easter," she calls out to all the people in the shops as we pass. People look up from their work and shopping with wondering smiles and surprise printed on their faces. The behaviorist mindset of a majority of persons employed in the mental health field is a curse. It is not that behaviorist techniques don't work. I have worked the technique with some mastery, and I've researched the subject in some depth. I conclude that its principles, at best, are limited. These principles have their maximum use when applied to animals and humans who fall within the range of being average specimens of their species. They have but minimal impact of a positive nature on animals and humans outside this range. The behaviorist mindset is a curse among mental health professionals because it implies that all abnormal behavior owns an environmental logic for existing. Therefore, by manipulating the environment, one can alter the abnormal behavior. Here's a newsflash, folks. It ain't that easy. Some abnormal behaviors have a physiological logic that defines not only the principles of behaviorism, but the foundations of modern psychiatry, psychiatric technology as well. There are no patented answers to problems of severe mental illness, even when and if the cause is identified. All there is our capacity to afford such individuals the reality of the thought most social workers are familiar with. There, but for the grace of God, go I. Part 8. Beyond her eccentric behaviors, she is still an unusual person. Her expressibility to be creative often astounds me, but far more astounding than that is her adroit use of language. I'm amazed by it, but not misled. Parrots can talk too. Great ability can be misleading. More than several persons who have talked with her over the years have been mightily impressed by her language skills, but it is a double-edged sword. The immediate perception of this person may be as follows. She who can reiterate rather complex facts regarding art, current affairs, and history must be rather intelligent, and she who can discuss these rather complex ideas cannot be stupid. If she cannot write legibly, compute, and memorize more than single-digit math facts, nor read a novel beyond a few sentences without becoming highly frustrated, it must be because the person instructing her in these skills haven't tried hard enough to teach her. And when and if they place their shoulders to this task, they are quickly frustrated. They pick up their marbles and go home. Patience is an expertise. There are no shortcuts to the learning of patience. Believe in readiness. Believe in fear. Believe that fear is the precursor to anger, and anger the precursor to violence. Believe that failure is an experience that can cause fear, and believe that fear of failure leads to avoidance behaviors and anger. The anger leads to violence. The violence leads to avoidance. Ad infinitum. It complicates matters in a cloud of bad feelings. The expertise of patience is innate. The ability to wait. The ability to wait for the desire and hunger to take root in the psyche, overcoming the fear of failure, wherein all failure is viewed as a part of the necessary learning process. All one can do is place the cards on the table and walk away. If the cards get knocked down, put them back. If they get thrown away or destroyed, replace them. Suffer through the crisis and bury it. Do not succumb to it. Learn by it. Turn deaf ears to expeditious criticism and insult. Do not succumb to the pessimistic groans of impatience. There is no other way. In church on Sunday at the beginning of the Lenten season, the Bible reading from the Old Testament sounds like this to me. It is like the wind that moves the branches of the trees and the stalks of grain in the fields. One knows not where it comes from or where it is going. One cannot see it. One can only know that it is there. I am both moved and touched by this Spirit. Part 9. I am not a born-again Christian. In religious matters, I am just one of millions who've fallen asleep and wakened slowly during a long, long sermon. During the wee hours of a Sunday morning, she does something very unlike her habitual routine. She cleans her room. Late that same afternoon, after she has slept, she does some follow-up polishing in her room. During the wee hours of the next morning, she does another, unhabitual thing. She cleans off the table in the family room where she spends most her time. Cleaning her room, which is small, is a task that has taken me 2 hours to accomplish, when I've elected to accomplish it. Cleaning off this table is a task that takes me from 35 to 40 minutes each day. I select to accomplish this task because I cannot tolerate the clutter she accumulates at this table. I spend a lot of time in this room. Neither task is done to my ideal, but both are done, and I have no complaints. She has taken the initiative to establish order and coherence in her environment and ours. She has picked up the cards on the table and made a rudimentary sense of them. Part 10. It's Monday afternoon in my house, and my quiet moment is over. I look at my day and arrange it with skill. Dinner, cleaning, tending to our dog and 2 cats, caring, loving, living. It is not too much to ask of anyone. God bless us all. Tomorrow will be another day.